All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Real Talk. I pray you are all doing well as we thank the Most High for so much. This title just simply says JT speaking from a producer standpoint. And this is a video response back to you. I make the beats. You know who you are. And to all the producers and, songwriters and artists around the world. You asked me to talk about how it was when I was coming up. Um, First of all, your creativity, excuse me, it speaks for itself. There are a lot of people that can just raw talent. I mean, just never went to anybody's school to learn, and just off the top of their mindset, they just creative. Then you got people that go to school, graduate, come out with all kind of ideas and stuff. But most of the people I knew, including myself, was just raw talent. Never went to anybody's school for music. But when I was coming up, how can I say this without making it sound like I'm down talking what's going on now? Let me get my words together for this, because it's if you 40 and up, you gonna feel this. When I was coming up, you had to play. I got it. Okay, this is what I want to say. Technology has increased so much that it make it very easy to produce now. Now, that's the way I want to say that, without making it sound like I'm down. Because y'all know when I talk, I'm never talking to really down nobody. It's I'm making facts. See, now you can buy a keyboard and hold down one note and make a whole track. But see, I started out. How many of y'all remember the old Ensoniq before the 16 plus that didn't have the expansion output on the back? My big brother, we was so hungry for the game back then. I had the first one, which was nothing because it didn't have the memory. And back then, you had to pop a 3.5 floppy disk in there just to get the keyboard started. See, a lot of artists don't even know what I'm talking about. Then you so long you came out with the 16 plus. We could say the TS12, and then the one that was real popular was the ASR10. Um, of course, you had the TR-808 drum machines back then, the Dr. Rhythms. But see, when I was coming up, I remember how they recorded with 4 tracks, 8 DATs. Now everything is all digital. In my papa and them time, it was reel to reel. My daddy had a reel to reel, and reel to reel was some of the best recording I ever heard in my life. But as times change, technology is going to increase. Now everything is so digital. That's why I wasn't never familiar with a transpose button. What was that? That's why I'm not knocking what people doing, but we had to play. Okay. Now the what made me such a dominant person. I'm not saying this to brag. I knew the piano. I could play the piano. So where a lot of producers could make a raw beat, but they couldn't play. So they would say, see, everybody call me Ro. No, don't nobody call me really Jero, which is my real name. Everybody take the last part of my name, which is Ro. So, hey, man, go take it to Ro. Let Ro put them cards on there. And you can hum me whatever you wanted. And I can play it for you. I didn't have to sample a lot, because if I wanted to take something off of Aretha Franklin, I could just flat out play it, fully, chords, bass line, or however you want it. So, but nowadays, with all the knobs and patches and sequences, now I don't even know too many people that really use sequence mode no more on a lot of keyboards, because everything now is Pro Tools, LE, Cubase, and GarageBand, and so many. You got all these Cakewalk. It's a lot of things out here now that a lot of people just kind of got away from sequencing. But I spent endless hours, man, working on sequences. 4-track, oh man, I remember when you talking about being on the 4-track, you spent a whole lot of time. So, but what made me dominant, not only could I make beats, but I can play once again, And that's where I had to jump on a lot of cats that they couldn't really just play in that sense. So that's why I stepped in that where I could play. And that's how I was getting on. But I never made it big. I could have. But a lot of people would always say, well, man, Ro got them skills. He can play. He can drop them beats. Man, they would compare me with people like Timberland, we could say even P. Diddy, some of your rawest producers out here. They be like, man, they cold, but they ain't got nothing on you. This people will speak for me. I never would brag on myself because I've always been a humble person. But I used to listen to a lot of tracks and like T. Draper from Swab House that was with 8 Ball and MJG. I would listen to so many different tracks and they'd be like, man, you like the Dr. Dre of the hood. But I did so many tracks for so many people. Most of the people dead now, locked up, or just didn't even take it serious no more. Y'all laugh at my email when where you get this Rotocap email letter? Well, that was actually from my boy Mike Teasy, a.k.a. known as Mike Thomas, one of my best friends from the hood, man, that's always kept it real, and he would always tease me. And one day he just said Rotocap, like on the car, and I'm gonna start calling you Big Rotocap, and that became my name for a lot of people. So even on the albums, they would shout out to Rotocap, and it just kind of stuck with me. He still, when he see me, he'll call me Rotocap, Rotocap. I mean, but as far as nowadays, like I say, the technology has increased so much. Let me give you a good example. Take the auto-tune. Auto-tune is real popular now. But see, back in the day, you had Roger Trapman of Roger and his album. Everybody know who Roger is, Computer Love, More Bounce to the Ounce, working at Voice Box. When you look at Roger had to really work that voice box or talk box, however you want to say it. And DJ Quick is good at it. And it's another brother I'm gonna give a shout out to, Byron Chambers, Mr. Talkbox. You see him on YouTube. He done blowed up so much now. And it's another. I think he's Chinese. It ain't too many people that can work the hell out that voice box and master it like a lot of these cats I'm talking about have done. But now you got all these different little gadgets out now that you ain't got to work as hard and put the tube in your mouth because the technology has increased. My point is, back in the day, they had to really play, sing, put in hours. Not knocking what's going on now. It's a lot of people still working hard. But like I say, when I was coming up, Fender Rose. When you tell a youngster Fender Rose, they don't even know what you're talking about nowadays. But now they got all the sounds out to mimic it. But ain't nothing like playing an 88 real Fender Rose. D'Angelo is known for playing them a lot because it's hard to beat that sound. And my old man kept a Fender Rose 88 around. One time I got a 73 from my boy Greg, and then I think they had a 76. But a Fender Rose, like Ray Charles, Worliston, which was in Ray Charles in them time. You don't see too many people playing Worlistons a lot, but when you say Fender Rose, see Fender Rose was hard hitting in the black community, And I grew up learning how to play on the Fender Rose, which is heavyweighted keys. Your hands be tired after playing a Fender Rose because they heavyweighted keys. So, but what I loved about playing on heavyweight keys, by the time I started getting to the lightweighted keys, I was fast. And I didn't really realize why I was getting so fast because it was because of the heavyweight keys. Even to this day, I still love heavyweight keys. Some people prefer the lighter one. I can play either one, but I prefer heavyweight keys. because that's the way I was taught, you know. But we would, man, music ran in our blood, brother. You talking about like can write, like my twin could write, my daddy could write, my daddy could sing, all my uncles can play, you know. Uncles on my mama's side of the family could play drum. We just generation after generation, we was born into the music, you know, without going to school. You know, I got some cousins, man, you know, that was just straight, just like I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Trio. My little cousin. Kinfolk been gone for years though. He's locked up, but had a dynamic voice. And you talking about can play the mess out some drums. It and ain't never took nobody's class. You know, it was just raw talent. So, and the sad thing about I'm in Dallas, Texas. It's so much raw talent in Dallas, Texas, man. You can go to South Dallas, you can go to Oak Cliff, you can go to West Dallas. I mean, you can go Fort Worth, you can go all over. But the problem with a lot of us down here is we just can't gel together, and that's sad. We can't get along. You get 3 or 4 in one room together. It's hotheads. It's ego problems. It's power trip. You know, big shout out to my boy T. Lee Waits. I remember back in the day, T. Lee Waits had the 2020 click. And when I first heard T. Lee, I said, why is this boy even in Dallas? You know, I ain't never seen nobody play a 6-string bass. Not only could he play the bass, he could play the lead, he could play the drums, he could sing, he could produce, he could engineer. I mean, he could set up live. You can't miss him. And he didn't go to nobody's school. I remember he would sit up and just listen at all kind of, you know, different styles and types of music. And I just say, I hope the brother don't get tired of me coming over his house, man. I remember them days, man, when I met T. Lee, AJ, which is Albert Jackson, Eric on the lead guitar, Bobo, Moby. I mean, I met a whole set of guys, man, that was just heavy off into music and producing. T. Lee would stay up all night and wouldn't even go to sleep, you know. Everybody would go over his house. Hey, man, I'm finna go record. And when I seen him, that look in his eye, he told me back then that I would never go on another job again. And he stuck to it. Now he's all over the world, man. You can look him up, man. I mean, he's a bad boy. I mean, but when I first saw him play the bass, the boy was just awesome, man. And that's who my little brother, when he started watching T. Lee on the bass, it was just one album T. Lee had. I can't remember the name of it, but my little brother would just play the mess out that thing, the whole thing every day. But that's how he learned how to play, you know. And shout out to him. Shout out to my big brother. Shout out to my twin. Big Bro started his own DWP label, you know, and was recording and engineering many people. Sad thing is when you in the recording business, a lot of people gonna fall off. A lot of people gonna be serious one minute and then you ain't even gonna see them no more. And then they may come years later. I want to say this and make this point, and I don't want to make the video too long. But sad thing is, a lot of people want you to stop, drop what you doing because they hype for a moment. And here you are putting in all this time and recording our people. They don't ever want to pay you. I'm just being real. I ain't gonna say all, but the majority gonna get high. They gonna, oh man, come on, hook your boy up, man. Well, if you can scrape together that dime sack money, them 20 sacks, that weed, and your drink, you can pay for some studio time. That's why we don't never get nowhere as a people, because we always trying to, man, hook me up. But it's business now. You know, you got to get past that hookup mentality, because if you don't, they're gonna forever use you and get all they can out of you. So when I was coming up, man, once again, the producing game was real tough. And you had to watch out, man, for them labels, man. They would try to get you without reading, without you having a lawyer, man. They was waiting on you to sign them papers, man, so they can just get you. But the good thing with me was I never got caught up with none of that, man. I kept working my regular jobs and used wisdom. Cause when something didn't sit right with me, especially my old man always said, man, you sit down and talk business and the man can't look you in the eye. He started looking at the floor. When you get to talking about business, don't fool with him. And I remember that because I I've been in the studio when I was little, and I still got tracks over certain people's houses, man, that I never got back. But when it comes to making music, that's easy for me. You know, when it comes to writing a song, that's easy for me. You know, I have a good friend of mine on here by the name of Dorothy Canterbury. Dorothy, um, she hit me up one time with her grandbaby that was going through so much, and she wanted me to just write this little song with this music on there, and we copywrote it. And she just thought the world of that song, and I said, "This is what I do." You know, I done gave jingles to certain people, but I was just telling my wife the other day I got to get back in the production like I used to be, because I got so much music I need to lay down, but um, it's gonna happen in time. I got a lot of stuff I need to just put out other than what I got out already. So I want to do this video too, because a lot of y'all keep asking me about, okay, JT, when you do this live chat, where you be getting this music from? But all that music you hear is me. That's all me. Um, it's been me. You talking about years and years of music. Some of them songs is 20 something years old, man. So it may sound like it's new, but if you listen to a lot of it and listen at the quality, you can tell, yeah, this was in the '90s, or this might have been early '90s, or because the technology once again it keep increasing. But we had to really play and lay down our stuff. How now now everybody just punch in a lot. You had punching in back then too, but most of the recordings that I can remember, man, was just raw. And one thing about me, if I was singing or singing the hook, I didn't care. I didn't care too much for punching in. I always wanted to start back over from the top. Elohim beats done. Let me give it a whole nother take. I don't want that punching in. But it's just each to their own. How you look at it, you do what works for you. Like I said, I'm not knocking a lot of the new production and what they're doing now. My whole point that I want to make once again was when you come up in different times. Like I say, like I was using the plum with auto tunes, wasn't no such thing as Roger finna use auto tunes, and I'm not knocking T-Pain and a lot of these rappers, everybody trying to sing now, but Roger could put that tube in his mouth, whether he was on the guitar or the keyboard, and I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the old school voice box, like Byron Chambers be using, but you have to play everything you say. You gotta know how to hold that tube in your mouth without spitting out and drooling all over the place, and literally play everything you say. So that's why they came out with a easier way, and bypass the tube, so you can just push it, and it sounds exactly the same way. So once again, I'm not knocking what they doing now. Hey, more power to you, but I'm just making a difference in how it was for some of us coming up versus the easy way it is. You want me to make a beat on this new technology? I can give you a beat less than 2 minutes. But that's how easy it is now. There's too many ways to make beats now. Too many keyboards that's easy now. So with that being said, that's my time, man. I'm gonna get on out of here. But that's just a little just responding back to your email. You know who you are. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Shalom.